Yes. And God bless. Thank you for this life. most people, most people will never experience real power. You know why? Because they don't even know what it looks like. Because they are asleep when it is being built. Here's the uncooked raw and real for today. The greatest illusion isn't just thinking you own your system. It is believing you even chose it. Most people walk through life believing they are in control, but when pressed, they don't know how they got there. They can't pinpoint the moment they truly chose their path. They mistake success for ownership and survival for control. But you're here at 4 a.m. That means you already know that something's off. Now, the real question is this: did I actively choose this life? Or did I just wake up in it? Because if I didn't create the path, then the path was created for me. Welcome to Raw for Epoch 1, Day 77. The ownership illusion. Are you really in control? Let's start with a concept overview. Just what is the ownership illusion? The ownership illusion is the belief that you are in control simply because you exist within a structure that allows movement. You get up, you go to work, you make money, you chase success. Sounds like all of us, Jeff. Let me ask you this then. Did you choose the framework or did you just inherit it? Huh? If you didn't build it, define it, or dictate it, you do not own it. False ownership is not having a well-paying job if the job itself is not your own creation. Managing a schedule that was given to you, not designed by you. Executing in an environment that was chosen for you, not by you. All big things. And what's crazy is true ownership is simple. Very simple. I feel how I want to feel. I think how I want to think. I move how I want to move. Huh? If any of those are dictated by external forces, circumstances, or social expectations, you are being owned. And if you don't fully own your system, someone else does. Your distractions own you. Your pursuit of success owns you. Your hesitation owns you. Your unexamined habits own you. It's 4 a.m. We're going to get this chat popping. Let's go through a visual metaphor. The ghost in the machine. Imagine this. Immerse yourself. See this. You wake up every day. Thank God I'm alive. You go to work, you pay your bills, you chase success. You believe you're making independent choices. Like, this is my life. I'm doing this. But then one day, you realize you can't recall when you actually chose this life. You don't remember writing the code because you didn't. You don't remember designing the system because it was handed to you. You don't even remember opting in because you were born into it. You are inside a machine that has been running you since birth. You think you own it because you have limited access to its controls. You think you're free because you're allowed to move inside the system. But the second you try to rewrite the code, the machine fights back. The moment you start questioning your habits, beliefs, and purpose, the system calls it a phase. The moment you stop seeking validation, the system calls you reckless. The moment you refuse to live by reaction, the system calls you lazy. The moment you claim full authority, the system tries to overwrite you. The system doesn't want thinkers. It wants processors. And if you are just running the code without questioning it, you are not an owner. You are a ghost. Most people are just residual data inside a system that never required their full consciousness. Most people mistake access for ownership. Most people mistake program success for freedom. You either rewrite the code or you remain trapped inside it. You either take full control or you become another process running in the background. You either own the machine or you get deleted by it. Master the system or be erased by it. Are you waking up yet? Are you deciding to stay asleep? Are you running your system? Or is the system running you? I'm going to give you some personal perspective. This is when I realized I wasn't in control, which is hard for me because I love control. That moment when I realized I wasn't truly in control, if you follow me, you know, God himself checked me. The message, spend more time with those you love the most. Listen to that. That should have been obvious, right? But if it was, why did I need divine intervention to see it? How could I claim to be in control when the core of my life, the reason for life, my wife, my children, my foundation, was something I was neglecting without even realizing it? How could I believe I was building when I was ignoring the why behind what I was building? How could I call myself the architect when I was missing the blueprint? Now, I like to believe I wasn't ignoring my priorities out of malice. I was ignoring them because I was distracted, preoccupied, and worst of all, moving on autopilot, someone else's codes and standards. And then I had another realization. I was having conversations with myself that revealed the fracture in my identity. The voice speaking and the voice listening were not the same. One was who I wanted to be, and the other was who I was letting myself become. And that's when it hit me. If my mind is split between who I am and who I think I am, then who's really in control? Scary. Scary because it meant that some part of me, some version of me had already been hijacked. And if I didn't reclaim full authority over my own system, I was going to be a permanent executioner of someone else's blueprint. That is when I understood ownership. Not as a title, not as an idea, but as an unshakable command over how I think, feel, and move. And if I don't own those three things, then I'm already being owned. Let's check the chat. Who's with us at 4:11 a.m.? Ask yourself this. Do I really own how I think, feel, and move? Give it some thought and some detail. We're going to get into some of the consequences and the how-to. Consider the possibilities of what this means as we transition into our God story. There's an illusion. There's an illusion. It is all an illusion. And maybe even ownership is an illusion. I'll submit to that possibility. But then I simply ask, if it's an illusion anyway, would you rather be controlled by the illusion or control the illusion? You rather move your illusion or be moved by the illusion? You rather own your system and run the system or let the system run you? Those are fair questions. And you don't question that question. I question what you're questioning. It goes back to what you're thinking. Are you thinking? Are you thinking? What are you thinking? The design of God, the dangerous myth of free will without ownership. Job said this: the Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Why is this significant for our conversation today? The mistake most people make is believing that free will automatically equals ownership. They'll say it, I have the power to choose, so that means I'm in control. What if I told you choice without ownership is just participation? Let's go to the Garden of Eden. Adam was given dominion, true ownership. But what did he do? He executed on borrowed thought. He followed a voice that wasn't his own. He followed a voice that wasn't his own. He surrendered control, not by force, but by default. And what was the result? He was removed from what was once his. This is the first system law ever recorded. If you don't fully own it, you will eventually lose it. Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics. Marcus wrote this: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. And this is a man in position of absolute power. He understood one thing. You can sit on the throne and still be a prisoner. You can sit on the throne and still be a prisoner. Most people believe they own their life, but their mind is ruled by external forces. Some of you don't have a thought that is yours ever at all. Most people claim to be free, but their spirit is enslaved to expectations, distractions, and hesitation. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot walk in faith while waiting for permission. You cannot claim ownership while outsourcing your decisions to the world. Who is it that's thinking? What is it thinking? And why are you moving how you're moving? What is rule 2? Faith. Faith don't wait. Doubt deletes the code. Faith is not just believing. Faith is building. By faith, we understand that the universe was created by the word of God. That was written in Hebrews 11:3. If God himself operates by creation and you are made in his image, then what does that mean? Your system is your world. Your faith is your foundation. Your ownership is your dominion. If you are not actively building it, refining it, and running it, then who is? Because if you don't own it, you'll be removed from it. Just like Adam, just like every fallen king, just like every man who mistook borrowed power for real control. Borrowed power for real control. The lesson is simple. Faith without ownership is just waiting, and waiting is the fastest path to being erased. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Whose permission do you need? Whose authority are you really moving with? Do you understand the power of faith as action? I journaled this yesterday, and I think it's somewhat appropriate. This is why the book is so important. Before you get anywhere and any further than anything, God simply said, "Let there be light." Forget about Sunday churches and altar boys and all the things that come with communion, confirmation. Oh, forget all that. Let there be light. Which could say what? God himself, creator of all. What did God see before there was light? It had to be pure darkness, because from where does light emerge? And if God, boom, exploded into energy and made light, it came from nothing, from darkness. Which also means what? God had to see before God saw. God was looking to see something, and then let there, boom, light, boom, world, life, creation. It wasn't like, let me run this test. Let me see it before I see it in the way that, let me physically, no. It was already saw or seen. Faith is already seen. It's remembrance. You know it. Do it. Boom. I don't understand how you can't understand faithlessness from faith. True faith is action. True faith is action in motion. You will be validated simply by taking action. You will be validated simply by emerging into the light, regardless of how dark. This is why we refer to text. This is why we become autodidactics. It's not necessarily so much about reading text and book and language and even following what's already there by somebody else. No, absorb it for yourself. Open the possibilities for yourself. Learn on your own. Think to yourself. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? This is why I believe so deeply in the Do-You rules and running your system. If you stop to think what it was you're thinking, I believe your life would change immensely. If for no other reason, then you can at least accept ownership fully with faith that what it is what it is. And if you choose something different, then you just got to move. Are you running your system, or is the system running you? Are you running the system, or is the system running you? Are you aware that you have a system? Are you aware you could even own and have sovereignty and dominion over your system? That if you don't, then it is being owned. And this is not to cast aspersions. No one's right or wrong in this. I don't believe in this great conspiracy to bring down all of humanity. I just don't. I can't see it. Do I think that there's some bad actors? Sure. Do I think evil exists? Sure. We create it, and we create it for ourselves when we don't own it. If you don't like where you're at, get out. If you don't like what's happening, do something different. Make a move. Don't mistake obstacles for intentionality to restrict you. And even if it is, you're going to stay there. You're going to know they're trying to hold me down and stay held down. You're going to know they're setting me up to fail and stay and follow the path of failure. Let's get into the 3 levels of the ownership illusion. Most people don't own their system because they don't even know what it consists of. Your system operates at 3 levels. Listen to this question. Do you dictate your thoughts, or do your thoughts dictate you? Do you control your habits, or were they installed without your permission? Do you own your time, or does your job, notifications, and distractions own it? If your system is running on default settings, you are not in control. Are you even aware of what you're thinking? I could argue, especially if you are struggling, you can't be. They're your thoughts. All your thoughts are your thoughts. I don't care how you label them or how difficult they are. Are you going to continue to allow them to pass? Do you even realize your habitual nature? Do you understand if you're moving with low energy, you've programmed yourself to move with low energy? You're now addicted to living with low energy. You're addicted to the weakness of your life. And are you aware that you could change it? And are you aware that regardless of what you do, these are all your default settings? This is just who you are, your identity. Do you even know you can change it? Here's the next level. Spiritual system illusion. Faith and alignment. I already asked this question. I can ask it every day. Answer these questions to yourself, by yourself, not in public, in private. Do you move with faith, or do you wait for external validation? Do you trust your internal compass, or do you seek permission to believe? Do you need society's approval? Do you execute like the outcome is guaranteed, or do you hesitate, waiting for signs? If you don't trust the architect, you can't run the system. Who is your architect? Who is the architect of your life? Why do you think I believe so deeply in rooting in God? The Do You rules. Rule number 1, God is root, God is system without no root. This is why you seek external sources. Define it how you want to define it. If you don't believe you're the architect, then you constantly need permission. If you don't believe you're your own architect, you let the system and the environment around you dictate your moves. You don't have to believe me. Take a look. Look around. It's very predictable. Can you believe the outcome is guaranteed if you but so move? What are you actually waiting for? What sign do you believe will come? What have you gained from hesitation? If you don't trust the architect, and if you don't trust that you are an architect, you cannot run the system. You don't gotta believe me, keep doing what you're doing. The network system illusion, influence and execution. Are you leveraging your environment, or is it leveraging you? Someone's leveraging someone. Do you move with system operators or system maintainers? System creators, system architects, or system maintainers? Do you execute at a level that makes you indispensable and irreplaceable, or are you easily deleted? If your network doesn't reflect your direction, you're building a system that will fail. Master these 3 levels or you will be owned by them. This is so much and so far away from the complexities of trying to define success by achieving against structured systems that allow you to achieve. I assure you, I continue to believe that the large majority of us are making a valiant effort towards, I just want to be fulfilled. I don't think that following steps in order to attain financial prominence at any level, there's so many more in the middle doing really good things that are just making efforts. We work the system. We get up and we apply. I don't believe that there's nothing inherently wrong. It's just a matter of, if I could be at a space where I was missing the reason and the root for why I was building, if I could ignore, and as I'm ignoring, there are things you just start to do. You prioritize. You begin to prioritize selfishness of self, because that's what the environment will give you. It is the lack of substance that comes with moving as the system pulls you forward. I wrote this also the other day. I asked this question. I posed it towards my family when we were having a conversation. Who is more successful? The teacher, whoever the teacher is, making 50, 60, 70 a year, who as they were growing in their system and in their life for their life said, I want to be a teacher. I can't wait to be a teacher. I want to give back by becoming a teacher and living the 50, 60, $70,000 lifestyle. Or the CEO of a Fortune 500, Fortune 100, Fortune 10, who became this super influential and financially dominant force, but never ever chose it or wanted to be it, was put in that seat unwillingly. Ask yourself that question honestly. Who's more successful? The person who decided what the system would be, or the person that mastered the system based on what it looked like on the resume? I don't know. I know what I believe. I know what I believe. There's consequences. We have to talk about consequences every day. If you don't apply consequences, you won't make moves. There has to be fallout. Here are the consequences of living under the ownership illusion. Self-system collapse. The silent execution of your potential. Listen to me. Your mind will be dictated, not directed. If you do not command your own thoughts, someone else's programming will fill the void. It has to be filled. If your habits are automatic but not intentional, you are just another well-trained participant, including the CEO. Your ambition will be pre-programmed, not personal. Hear what that means. It'll be pre-programmed, not personal. Who are you really? If your goals are inherited from society, family, or fear, you are not pursuing a dream. You are fulfilling a script. Someone gave you a prescription. It doesn't matter how high the prescription. If it wasn't yours, you accepted it. You're fulfilling a script. If your success was chosen for you, your wins will feel empty because they were never yours to begin with. And in that way, you will perfect execution, but never ownership. If you become an elite executor inside a system you don't control, you will be a high-performing prisoner. You will optimize the machine, but never own the factory. If your identity is a byproduct of external programming, your life is not your own. Massive consequence. Here are the spiritual system consequences. We call this the collapse of the spiritual system, the disconnection from true power. You will operate without authority because faith is not real without ownership. If you pray without execution, you are just making a request and making requests to a life you do not control. If you hesitate before moving, you are not moving by faith, you are moving by fear. You will trade conviction for compliance if you need signs, proof, or permission before acting. You do not trust the unseen. If your faith does not dictate movement, your environment dictates your beliefs. This is so much deeper than a title and a label. You will seek external validation for internal truth. If you live waiting for confirmation, you are not walking in faith, you are walking in hesitation. Faith is not belief in an outcome. It is the certainty that the outcome is already set. If you do not trust your internal compass, you will always be searching for direction. Do you even check in on your internal compass? Are you aware of what that could be? Consequences. Here's your network system collapse. Becoming replaceable, forgotten, and deleted. Your presence will be optional because you never built leverage. If your absence changes nothing, your presence was never powerful. If your role is replaceable, you are a body filling a position, not a force shifting the system. Your value, your life value will be dictated, not demanded. You're a nice to have. I've been there. If your skills are common, your compensation will be dictated by who owns the system. If you are not a source of undeniable results, your worth is measured by cost, not impact. Oh, Jesus, Lord. If you are not a source of undeniable results, your worth is measured by cost, not impact. My beautiful people, you can become a burden. And the system will start to ask, what is my return on investment? It costs me more to keep you. And when it costs me too much to keep you, I'm not getting a return on my investment. You are not impactful. Why are you not impactful with your life? Why are you not impactful to the network around you? Why are you not providing value? Why do you cost more? There is no equation in life where the investment into the cost is high or higher than the return on the investment. Every ounce of energy, time, effort, dollars that go into something must return more. And if you are a sunk cost, we're talking about network consequences, the systems around you, the people, the places, the things. Your influence will fade because no one follows a placeholder. If you do not command respect, you will be assigned a place. If your network determines your ceiling and you never move beyond it, you'll never escape it. The system does not reward placeholders, it erases them. We got to check the chat. Where you at, chat? 434 on a Tuesday. The illusion of ownership. It's not to suggest that where you're at is not where you're supposed to be. You might be exactly where you're supposed to be. But did you really get yourself there? Did you really get you there is where you are, where you want to be. And God forbid, do you believe that if you are there and it's not where you want to be, that you have to stay there? What's the biggest glitch? We talked about it recently, that you could change your life all at once. You cannot. But you certainly can't change it if you do nothing. We're going to talk about the how-to now. We can't stay stuck in consequences. We can't stay stuck behind the 8 ball and not shoot our shot, right? I got you. I got you. I'll give you everything I know. Take everything I know. Apply it or not. I'm just telling you what's worked for me. I was there. I was there. I was there. Go back to what I said from my personal perspective, that I could be doing a lot of things that put me on paper. My life resume is pretty good when you align it with the language of success. But that everything I was building success for, I was missing. The impact I was having with my success, I was missing it. I was missing what it really did for me. I was missing what it did for the people I was building for. That's life. That is life. That is life. I don't need to seek permission for the people I've built a system and a network with, the people I've built legacy and family with, that commit to me. They're investing in me daily. They're investing in me emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. And my return on investment to them was just surface. It was just take a photo, post it. Damn, it looks good. That's weightless. Here's how to break the ownership illusion and take full control. Ownership, here's what it is not. Ownership is not a title, it is an execution level. You don't own what you don't control. You don't control what you don't design. You don't design what you don't understand. Most people get stuck in step 1. They recognize they don't fully own their life. But stop there. You do not stop there. You move. And here's how. You know where we're going. We start step 1 with the self-system control. It got to start with you. It got to start with you. It got to start with you. Command your mind and execution. Audit the program. Who wrote your script? Whose prescription are you on? Is your routine yours or a reaction to external demands? Are your priorities self-imposed or system assigned? Is your identity chosen or a byproduct of expectation? Whose expectation? Whose identity? Are your priorities self-imposed? Right? Rewrite the code. Eliminate borrowed thought. If a thought is not yours, reject it, or even better, refine it. If a habit does not serve you, break it or optimize it. If an action is not deliberate, replace it or remove it. This is from when I wake and I rise to when I sleep. I'm all in all the time. This never ends. We're talking about our self-system and the how-to. Set pre-decisions and real-time hesitation. Your day should not be decided in the moment. Pre-decide your morning, your execution, and your response to obstacles. Pre-script your focus so distraction has no entry point. If you don't own the programming, you are just another user in the system. Pre-scripting. I assure you, I talk about the moment and ensuring you stay in the moment, but you can't sacrifice the moment or the future moments for what's in the current moment, right? The ability to pre-script and preset is the ability to pre-program how you are operating. This is why we have rules to this: God, faith, honor, loyalty. If I start to say my morning goes this way, I focus on myself to start. I get my responsibilities to me. My mask is self done. Then I put on my next mask, which might be fatherhood, husbandhood, professional. How I move, regardless of what mask I put on, is still rooted in the same system. In that way, I can predetermine how I respond to my life. I don't react real time because I'm constantly stuck in this loop of in the moment what's happening, who's watching me, what do I have to do to make this? No. I move the same way all the time. I am preset in how I operate. I understand what I'm thinking because I understand what I'm feeling, because I understand what I'm moving towards. And when I'm in harmony this way, I don't have to fret over the obstacles and the pressure that life throws me. Why? I'm the same all the time now. I used to be different. I used to respond to the pressure that allowed me to be acceptable by the system in the moment. Now my system is my system. I bring my system everywhere I go. So I'm already, when I'm having my conversations with God and I'm praying and I'm meditating, when I see obstacles, when I see difficulties, when the stress begins to overwhelm me, allow me to reseat myself in consciousness, in faith, honor, and loyalty. So my predetermined script is how do I move with those principles. Step 2. Think about this, right? Spiritual system control. Faith as an operating system. Faith moves first. Stop waiting for proof. The only people who wait for confirmation before moves or before moving are slaves to the outcome. Faith is execution, not theory. If God created through command, why are you waiting for permission? Pray with authority. Not as a request, but as a declaration. I don't know that we teach this enough, share it enough, open ourselves enough to this possibility. Pray with declaration, with conviction. Stop begging for blessings. Start commanding alignment. My God, keep me aligned, mind, body, and spirit. Speak as though it is already done. If faith is your operating system, if faith is your OS, fear cannot run on your system in a dominant fashion. You need it. The polarities, fear is there. You don't want to be on that spot. Faith always over fear. Align or expire. Misalignment is the fastest way to be replaced. If you are not aligned with your system's true purpose, the system will eject you. The greatest sign of misalignment: hesitation, burnout, and frustration. Stop treating faith as a belief system and start treating it as your execution system. If you hesitate in faith, you hesitate in action. No belief equals no execution. Step 3, network system control. Be indispensable and irreplaceable. Control the room. Control every room you're in. Make your presence non-negotiable. If you disappear today, what would collapse? If the answer is nothing, you are replaceable. Own something. Own something in your environment, or you will be owned by it. Eliminate passive association. Your network dictates your trajectory. Ask yourself this question: do the people around you sharpen you or slow you? Are you surrounded by system owners, system operators, system architects, or system maintainers? Your environment either expands you or erases you. Choose. Master execution. Value is the only currency that matters. What is your value? How are you valuable? If your execution is undeniable, you dictate the terms. If your presence is optional, you will always be optional. If you want to do something, do what no one else can do at the level no one else can match.
Yo, why you looking at me? You know it's on you, baby.
Scared the shit out of me. Woo! You do it at a level no one can match, and then control follows. If you don't own the system owns you. I was so into my flow state, I didn't even realize I was conscious of life. That's the beauty I offer you. That's the beauty I offer you. I got a Rodecaster Pro. It went off. It triggered a pre-canned message in there, and it was like, whoa, I'm back into this world. I'm back into the illusion of life. That is what I hope to have emanate through the Do You Rules. That's my hope for everybody. That when you run your system so deeply, you don't have to worry about the thinking of things, because the thinking of things is aligned with your feeling of things. And your feelings should always be aligned with the love of yourself. Not to suggest there's not difficulties and fear and all these trials that come with it. I keep telling you, it intensifies. But embrace it. I'd rather be a creator of all that I am than a creator of nothing. Because that nothingness becomes the creator of then who I am. Fall madly in love with yourself. Give yourself a chance, and however you want to give yourself a chance, presuming you don't feel like you have a chance. You either run the system or the system runs you. It's your system. I'll give you a challenge for today. We got to audit. Identify where you are a ghost in the machine. Most people are running a system they didn't build. Today, we have to break the illusion. Find your default code. Audit 3 major areas, the 3 we talk about every day. Self, spirit, network. For yourself, what's one habit you follow daily without questioning it? One habit. For your spirit, do you wait for external confirmation before making decisions? Network. Are you surrounded by people who challenge your system or just maintain it? If you can't immediately answer, that's proof the system is running you. And then step 2. We're challenging ourselves today. Delete and rewrite just one function. Choose one thing you normally do without question and manually rewrite it. Here are some examples. If you check your phone first thing in the morning, just delay it by 30 minutes. If you wait for validation before acting, make a decision based on instinct. If your routine feels automatic, force a shift. Wake up earlier. Take a new route. Break the pattern. This isn't just about change. It's about proving to yourself you control the machine, not the other way around. I offer you a 3rd step. Contribute. Execute and report back. Come back here. Drop it in the comments. I rewrite the code. I rewrite the code. Be vulnerable. Speak it into existence. Write it into existence. Expose the strongest area where the machine is still running you. Where is the machine running you? State the function you are rewriting and execute today. 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 You either reprogram your system or you remain a ghost inside of it. And as much as I believe in God, faith, honor, loyalty, I'm here for a reason. And I've accepted the reality that most people will never wake up. Most people will process life instead of creating it. Most people will never know they were ghosts until they're deleted. But you, if you can get here at 4 a.m. or get to wherever you need to be on your own terms, that means the system glitch has been exposed. Now, the question is, do you reclaim the machine or do you let it run you? No more default actions, no more inherited thoughts, no more passive execution. Rewrite the code or stay trapped inside it. Today you move, or today you prove you were never really here. You either own the system or it owns you. And the only way to own it is to know. You either run the system or the system runs you. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Do you and stay rich.